Hi, guys. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Design Exchange with Danny Russo and Melinda Peters Elliott. Today, I have a special guest with me, and we are learning how to Zoom. And my guest is the amazing Camille Cower, and her show is called The E Spot. Not to be confused with any other spots. It's called The E Spot with Camille. And she's one of my very, 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 how my finger, my very dear friends. Can I hear you? Are
Yeah,
you there?
I'm here. I'm just
So
hearing all the things.
you're hearing all the things. So I met Camille years ago back at High Point, North Carolina. We tried to do a podcast just recently, and we kind of had it rigged where I had a headset over the phone. She couldn't hear me, I couldn't hear her, and we both were like we were talking over each other. But I think the podcast turned out better.
It was like one of us was talking on a bag phone from the 80s.
I
Just
know. I mean, this is my original phone from 1980. It's a little bit bigger. Call me on my email.
like it's like the rotary phones of cell phones.
So, what's new in your world? What's going on? We just did a podcast when we got back. Did we do one when we got back from North Carolina?
No, not really. Like it
Okay,
was
so let's talk about
Thanksgiving.
North Carolina because North
Yeah.
Carolina, my best friend, lovingly refers to it as the underground furniture market, and it's Hayden.
Okay.
He he goes,
Has he
he
been?
doesn't know, he's never been. He
Oh,
sells
okay.
cars.
Well,
So
I don't know.
he gets very confused when I'm going to these places. He's like, I don't know where you go and find your furniture in the middle of nowhere at the underground furniture market. And I'm like, well, I go, you know what? I go, I guess it is kind of the underground furniture market because it's in the middle of nowhere. It's in a city that only comes to life once a year. This was our first, I don't want to use the word normal. No, no, no. This was our first normal market
Well, I'm saying
that
it's
didn't,
twice a year, right? Spring and
it
fall.
happens twice a year, spring and fall, but it's been so weird with COVID. We had like a mini market, which you were at in June,
June.
but market always happens in April and October. And their slogan is the world. It's where the world goes for furniture and furnishings, and that's their tagline. So I didn't know America was closed. Did you?
Uh, yeah. I
So
knew.
we had this market going on, and I got back, and it said America's getting ready for the grand reopening, and I'm like, when was America closed? Because there were a lot of foreign people there that I ran into from Italy and Europe. How'd they get in? Were they like,
Oh, good point. Because I thought you meant like nationally it was closed, but you mean like to international
no?
travel. Yeah,
Yeah, America
very
was
good
closed
point.
to international travel. So this was our first post-COVID market. And it was funny because you were the one of the, you were so terrified of it that you were wearing a mask. But they were like, you have to wear masks. And we'd walk in the building and everybody would have a mask on. And then all of a sudden, everybody would take their mask off.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, okay, are we or not? Whatever. But what did you think? Because this was your first time at market where you really didn't have anything to do. And it was my first time at market where I really didn't have anything to do. I just went shopping for clients and had fun. You are usually doing a podcast from there, interviewing people. We actually got to socialize and we didn't have to worry about being somewhere at any particular time. And what were your thoughts? I met you in the Norwalk showroom, who's one of my bigger vendors, and then we walked around both days, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I
We
feel
saw a
like,
bunch of people that you know.
yeah.
What were you gonna say? You feel like I cut you
No,
off?
I feel like it was when you're like there for work, like it's so regimented, like you're so scheduled, you're so like precise, as opposed to when you have the freedom to go in and out as you please.
Yeah,
Like it was kind of hard to stay still long enough for the panels because I wanted
right.
to support my friends' panels, but at the same time, it's like there's so many people here I could be talking to
I
be like
know.
future guests and
I
stuff.
I kind of ditched you at one panel, and I snuck away and placed an order with one of our friends, Dan Foley. He just launched a line that you're going to be seeing in Home Goods and TJ Maxx and a
Nice.
couple other places. But I snuck out with Christy Hopper, and I went to see his new line that's
I
coming
love
out.
her. I
She's
met her in
amazing.
Dallas.
Yes.
Or am I? No, actually, I
No,
met her
you
in
met her in
Fort Myers
Dallas.
first.
I
I
was
met her
your
in Dallas.
I was your assistant that weekend. in Dallas.
Best
Um,
assistant ever.
I know. And you were like, I was your cameraman, but we were like going to showrooms.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you did a really good job hosting that panel.
Thank you.
And
It was
I had
fun.
no idea that that was one of the first large group panels that you ever hosted. You did it so well. What I would like to talk about is BIPOC, BIPOC. And I always get
Yes.
it wrong. And ever since attended that panel with you, I've been hearing a lot about it, POC. But BIPOC stands for Black, Indigenous, People of Color. And in the design industry, I would say that our industry is 90 to 95% women and 5% men. And of that 5%, about 4% of them are gay. So, um, but when we're talking about BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people of color, that number changes drastically because it's like 95, maybe 90 to 95.
86% is what I
Is
Googled.
it?
It was 86% white.
Look, so I'm good.
Yeah,
It's
you were really
86%
close.
white people, and then you have the other 12% is um,
People
people of other.
identify all of,
I
yeah.
don't even want, I don't want to use the wrong word, but Black,
Yeah.
Indigenous people of color. So we have Black, Indigenous, is that like
Native
Native
American.
American Indian?
Mhm.
And then people of color, it could be Indian, I guess, right? In
Asian,
Asian, brown people,
Hispanic. Yeah.
black people.
It's
Um,
like a catch-all for everyone else, and which I don't. I mean, it's not the best term because
you
I
said
don't
that
know
you
who
were,
I
we
would
were on, I
call.
remember you, I remember exactly where you said that. We were walking down the elevator
Yeah.
and you were like, this, I don't think that's the right word, but whatever. Um, I don't know. I love everybody.
Me too. Me
And
too.
I love seeing one of my favorite designers is Tiffany Brooks, and she won the last original season of the original Design Star. Not the original season. She won the last season of the original Design Star, and she's out of Chicago. And she won that show, and she's been killing it ever since. She has her own show now. She's on multiple networks. She does the HGTV Dream Home. You should hook up with her. She'd be a really good
Send it
resource
my
for you.
way. I would love
So
it.
you got to walk around with me and my team. Did you notice any trends?
Yeah.
Specifically, we were in one of our vendors. I hate to use vendor names on here, but we were in one
Well,
of our
maybe they'll
larger,
become sponsors.
we were in Four Hands,
Okay.
um, and we ran into some of your designer friends that were in the Kaleidoscope project, and I got to meet them, and they were from, God, I remember her husband was from Youngstown, and she was with that larger guy. What did he say? The only free thing you're going to get out of me is my
Oh,
business card.
yeah, Niall Johnson. He's
What was his name?
hilarious. Niall Johnson.
Niall Johnson. I loved him. I
I
had
feel
a
like
really
he
good
looks
time
like
talking to him.
Luther Vandross to me, but like not as tall.
You kept
But like,
saying that,
yeah.
and he has a
And
very
it's a
deep
very deep
baritone
voice.
voice.
Hmm.
And that's
He
why you
might not
said,
really look that much like him. It's just the voice with the face. Like he just has that clean night swooner look to him, to
yeah,
me anyway. So like he could
he
be
was
that.
really
He's
he was
so
really
nice.
fun.
Yeah, really
But
good.
what was your takeaway from High Point?
Well, so
After being there for so many years, you've gone
yeah.
so many years, and tell me what your takeaway was. Because
Well, it's
let me,
changed a lot because
it's changed a lot, but let me
like when you
preface
said like
this.
it's 90% women, it used to be 90% men. At
Really?
least it felt that way.
Well,
Maybe
when?
it's like the showrooms mainly.
Way
I don't
back
know,
when?
like way back when
Oh,
when I
way back
first
when it
started
was all
going.
the
Like
old men. It was all the
yeah, and
old
like you
men
could
selling
smoke
furniture.
indoors too then
Oh,
because
that way you're
where I
going
come from.
way back.
I've been doing this since I was 15. Like I could
Yeah,
really give the history of High Point Market almost. But like
yeah.
and it was very Texas and I remember a lot of people with cowboy boots and cowboy hats, which is what I was kind of expecting in Dallas market, which is me just being like I
You
love
didn't.
the show Dallas, so I just assumed everybody would be walking around like that or like Miss Congeniality, right? Like they were well that was El Paso, but still like TV is life, and sometimes TV's right, but in this
Yeah.
case, not so much. But it used to be like I felt before that it was a lot of male and it was a lot of older gentlemen as well.
Right.
And now it's completely different. Like it's predominantly female.
I
And
think it's
I
gotten a lot more creative. So
true.
when
And
you
it
went, was
shows.
it that over the top style where it was like
Yes.
everything was Italianate, dark, beige? Because I try to figure that out all the time. Now, when me and you met, we met in a showroom, and I feel like that year at that showroom, they had a circus theme. There were umbrellas spinning in circles. Do you remember that? Like
I do.
there there was it was over the top. But I feel like back then everybody was painting their walls black. And this is
Mm,
like I had been painting my walls black for years.
hmm.
Um, but every showroom was black with moody lighting and Edison bulbs. And then this market where we were at when we were at Four Hands, it was all very light and airy, almost like the pinks in the art that were behind you. I saw a lot of
Which is
pinks,
for sale, by the way.
neutrals. Yeah, that's from your mother, Olivia
Olivia's
Pope.
our yeah, Olivia Gately. Yeah, same thing. Same thing. Same thing.
Yeah, she has a gallery.
Hmm.
She joined us.
Yeah, she's been selling like crazy lately. So
Really?
that's why I'm like, this is for sale. let me get let me get some commission. Just kidding.
Yeah, everything's for sale.
Pretty much.
People are walking through
Well,
my I have a new warehouse manager and he goes, "What exactly is for sale and what's not?" And I go, "Everything's for sale, including me."
oh, for the
We're
right
all
price.
yeah, we're all for sale. Everything's for sale.
Just
Um,
depends
but
on what
did
you're looking
you um it's hard to judge this market because it was a very light market. Like it wasn't as busy as normal.
for, which I
Um,
appreciate.
yes,
It was easy to maneuver around.
so easy to maneuver around.
You didn't have to
Um,
wait forever for the bathrooms and stuff like
no,
that.
well, you always have to wait when you're in the women's bathroom. The men's
True.
bathroom, there's never anybody in it. However, we did go into that one bathroom and it had carpet on the floor, and I was like, "What? Where are we?" It was right
Oh,
outside. It was right outside of the Norwalk showroom.
huh.
Right when you got there. Remember, we were sitting there, and all of a sudden, all these police and firemen came rushing in,
I missed that
and
part, but you guys told me afterwards.
oh my God, it was the weirdest thing. Some designer accidentally hit SOS on her phone or on her iPhone, and all these police and ambulance just came rushing in. And this woman's walking around with a glass of wine. She's just
Like
shopping, and they have a
completely
thing where they can
unaware.
see your exact location, and they're like, "Ma'am, are you okay? Are you being harassed?" How did you miss that? Because I was sitting
No,
in that.
I walked in after the fact. You guys were
Okay,
talking
it had
about
just
what had
happened
happened. Yeah,
because
and
I
so
go,
I
I
saw
gotta,
like the firemen and stuff walking around, but I didn't see the actual what caused
yeah.
it. The
That showroom,
drama.
I kept moving around before you got there. Like I'd go sit in one section,
Cuz it's the
and
celebrity people.
I had, well, I had my finger was broken at the time, so I had a full-on cast that I had wrapped in black, and all these people were asking me if I was wearing a fashion cast or if that was a statement. But I was sitting in this one area of the showroom, and they bring a tour group through. And I'm like, I think I need to move. So I go move somewhere else. There's a chair flipped over, the leg's broken, sales associates trying to sell. And I'm like, okay, so I'll go move to this other section, which I was hoping was quieter. And then I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden,
Literally playing
all
musical
these
chairs.
people kept taking pictures. And I'm like, why are these people taking pictures of me? Like, I know they don't know me, but they kept taking pictures. I was sitting next to some style influencers postcard, and they were on a scavenger hunt. And that's when we
Uh,
ended up moving over to the couch where when you came in, we were on that sofa. Cause I was like, Camille's here. And I'm like, I was like having a panic attack. I'm like, how am I going to tell her where we're at? How am I going to like, because we couldn't find anybody. And all of a sudden, Elise, my blonde friend, showed up.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, you found me? And it's so weird because me and her have like, she's like, she's the female version of me, is what I tell people. But all of a sudden, she came walking around the corner, and I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. So
um,
funny thing, when you say you're looking for Danny Russo to any sales representative, or I don't know what their terms are now. I'm trying to be PC and
Sales rep.
sales rep. Okay, they know who you are.
Really?
Like yeah, like you might as well have a low jack on you because
Are
they're
you
like, oh, he's
serious?
like they know where the money's at. Soon as you
So when
like,
you walked in,
wait,
somebody
so
said
wait,
that?
So wait, here's the thing. Like you taught me this that when they scan your badge,
Yeah,
they have like an iPhone tracker basically on you, so they can tell pinpoint
they
where
know
you are
exactly where you're
directly.
at, what building you're
So
in.
when I said I'm looking for Danny Russo, they're like, "Oh, the guy in all black." I'm like, "Duh." So there was that because yeah, you stick out in that way alone. But they they know where the money's. They always know where the high spenders are. Like at a casino, they know where their money gets bettered or where it
Yeah,
gets comes from. So
but they try to
yeah.
keep market very private. And I was trying to explain to somebody, you can't just
Hmm.
walk in. You have to like apply for a pass. You have to have all this information, and then they give you a pass, and you have to get the pass, and then they scan you into the building, and then you're scanned into the building. So the whole building is aware that you're in there. And then when you go into the showroom, they scan you. So then the reps come sniffing around, so I either try to hide when I go into a showroom or I'll try to like stay in one place. Cause remember we went, I don't know if you had gotten there yet, but the girls were hungry. So I took them up like 5 floors and we were in this one showroom, and all of a sudden my Cleveland rep shows up, and I'm like, and I could tell he was looking for me, and I was like hiding behind something. I was like, Jan. And of course he wanted what did he want from me? My credit
Credit
card.
card.
Yeah.
That
He wanted
black
my,
card is unbelievable.
yeah. But
When you
that's where
carry
we
titanium, you know.
what was your oh, by the way, my car's in. I'll tell you about that later.
Yay! Oh my gosh!
Um
So yesterday when I was driving around Spartanburg, well, I saw the sign for Spartanburg. I'm like, oh, Danny's car.
yeah, it showed up, but I have no time this week to get it.
I'll get
Um
it for you. Just fly me in.
Come on in.
Like,
Um
no, it's snowing there. Never mind. I'll wait for the
well,
sign.
yeah, true. The snow stopped. It was just yesterday.
Is it
My God, it
still on
got
the
so
ground?
cold here.
Yeah. Oh
It's
wait, back to High Point. Oh.
Yeah. So, High Point, what were your takeaways from it? Because I saw everything in the last 4 to 5 or 6 markets, everything was going black, moody, dark, deep colors, very little jewel tones. But this market, everything was light and airy. And I don't know if it's because there's a shortage on certain products, like we're having a
I
hard
think it's
time
the
getting lighting.
pandemic. I think because people are spending more time at home, they didn't want to like make it look depressing,
Yeah.
color theory of it all, where they're going very light, very resort type colors. So you
Yes.
feel like
Yes.
you're
Everything
vacationing
that's
at
in that
home.
painting behind you.
Everything, like all the things. And I love that because I love that bright colors mixed with dark. Like, I think it would be great to have like a gray wall with all the bright colors of a kitchen, all white or
Are
something,
you
or
talking about a
vice
feature
versa.
wall? Please tell me you're not talking about a feature wall.
No, I'm not talking about a feature wall.
Okay, good.
Uh-huh. I'm
We don't,
speaking as a
everything
non-professional.
comes back. Everything does come back. And I really hope feature walls are not coming back.
Speaking of which, like when we bought our house,
Yeah.
it had gold fixtures still in it, like on the doorknobs, the lights, everything. And this was
Yeah.
2016, just to age my house. But I was like, yeah, that was one of the selling points for me because I love
Yeah.
yellow gold. And
It's
everyone
back.
around me is like, that's old fashioned, that's out of date. Blah, 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 blah. Honey, it is here to stay and then some. I am
Yeah.
so
It's all
excited
about,
about that.
I love mixing brass. I love mixing golds, silvers,
Mm.
blacks, brasses, nickels.
Can you
The
tell the
only,
shower companies to get on it? Because I still need
they're
like a
on it.
shower head
They're on
like
it.
the detachable one that's gold. Like there's still
Send me
silver,
a
silver,
picture of what
silver.
you want. I can get it for you.
Okay.
You know that.
Well, I did a commercial for Moen's Magnetics, and so I was kind of hoping to get that in gold, but it still hasn't come out because that's what I have. But
Wait,
at the
when you
same
say
time,
Moen Magnetics, what does that mean? Is it like the
it's their
magnetic pull
magnet
down?
one. Yeah, where it clicks with the magnet and
Everybody has that, I feel like,
well, it's because I
lately.
did a commercial for it. It was kind of cool because they had like a
Well,
video of
definitely get
me
it.
in the Lowe's, like demoing it and stuff. It was so
Where,
like
so you
cool.
filmed that commercial just recently in Charlotte, right?
I filmed it in High Point. It was like
Oh, really?
4 or 5 years ago,
Oh,
actually.
that's been out.
Yeah,
That's
it's
come
been
out.
out.
That's been out.
It's been
So
out.
let's talk about your audience. Let's talk about you for a minute, because I always end up taking over the conversation.
No, it's fine.
And people ask me, like, who is she? How do you know her? I'm like, that's Camille. She was on this show. And I don't, and I have to go, what show were you on? And you're like, you were on Dawson's Creek. You did a bunch of commercials for what else? Tell me.
Like that's my favorite bread and butter is commercial work. I love doing commercials. I love the quickness of it all. I love that I can get to play 100 different people all the time. Like I've been everything from like a stay-at-home mom, which is such a departure from my real life, to
You had to play that.
oh my gosh, how do you do that? I'm a PTA mom? That's hard. No, really. But I've and funny enough, I've played a mom since before becoming a mom. So it's like you go through everything in life first on camera sometimes. Like even wedding stuff, I used to do wedding stuff back in the day. And I did that way before I ever got married. So why I didn't want a wedding, because I was like, I've already done it like 100 times. But anyway,
Yeah.
like I love doing furniture commercials. I do a lot of tech commercials. The thing I like about furniture commercials, they like people my size because it makes the furniture look bigger since I'm not like
You're
an
not some
Amazon tall.
Saskatchewan.
No, I'm like normal height. Like
You're a
I'm five
model. You're
six.
model height. I would say that you're model
Yeah,
size.
well, Kate Moss model height, not Naomi Campbell model height. Like I'm not 5'9", but
Did you ever
I think
make
I
it
play with
to
them.
see my Aunt Miranda Court Kerr that day?
No, I didn't. I
I
missed
didn't
it.
either.
Yeah. I
Um,
saw like after shots of it, and I was getting the emails for a while, and then just undid it. Because so funny enough, like Universal was the one that did. Um,
your furniture, the furniture you were doing the benefits and features of,
right.
and you're like, I'm like, do you know anything about what you were talking about? And you're like,
No, I
absolutely
learned
not.
that day. Like I
I'm
didn't know
like,
what dovetail for like
dovetail,
dovetail.
English dovetail in
Yeah,
the
I didn't know what that
joints.
was,
Yeah.
but I know now, and look for it
Um,
in my furniture.
yeah, that's funny.
But I learned a lot from being on set. But they had what's her name? Something Dean. Paula Dean. They had Paula
Paula
Dean.
Dean, the Paula Dean furniture collection. Oh boy, we don't want to talk
Yeah.
about that.
No, it was crazy though, because like when it was like the same week that all the drama came out about her was the week
Right.
I had to do my Universal shot.
Yeah.
And first off, they sent me like 4 pages of script the night before the shooting, and it was the same day as my daughter's birthday, and we had like a big birthday party for it. So I was a little bit exhausted and had to
Really?
stay up all night to study. And then I get there and they change the name of the furniture because they're like, no, we'd rather you not say the furniture name so we could use it for all the different. Because it's
Brands.
like white labeled.
Some
So like Costco
sometimes
calls
people
it
change
this.
the name of it.
Aaron might
I
call it
loved how you
this.
were like
Yeah.
Van White. You're like, well, on this bed, these are the features and blah 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 blah, and these are the benefits.
I felt like a noob the entire time. Like I
No,
just
you did
felt,
a really good job on it. You
oh
sent it to me
God,
recently.
I
It was really
did.
good. I
It's
pay
still on the
attention.
website.
I was paying attention and I was like, she did not, she used the wrong word, but
I did.
it was
Ooh.
no big deal. Nobody would ever
Well,
catch it
tell
except
me,
for
because
me.
designers will catch
I
it.
paid attention to it.
Yeah.
So I was like overly paying attention.
Oh.
Um, but
Well,
tell
the
me,
last commercial I did, I got to play a veterinarian, and that was super cool. Like
I
with
would
a
love to
parrot
do
in
that. I
it.
love animals.
I love animals too, but I'm allergic to cats, and
I'm allergic to cats too.
I didn't understand how much cat fur would be in a veterinarian hospital. Like it was like because they use such bright lights to film with that
Yeah.
you could just see everything in the air, and you would just see like all this dust of hair, and it wasn't like a lot. Like I'm sure for a veterinarian's office, this was probably one of the cleanest ones ever because it was
Right,
really
right.
clean. But when you're allergic, you're just like, oh. And they had
Oh,
catering for our meals indoors, and I felt like such a snob. So like maybe I am OCD and need to get diagnosed because I could not eat there. Like it's like the idea of hair and food in my mouth. Like it just
so they had craft services at the vet's office. Why didn't they keep it like outside in a tent?
I don't know.
Talk to my listeners about the E Spot and tell them
Yeah.
how they can find you and everything like that. And
Okay.
let's talk about that for a second.
Sure. So the E spot is my baby. The E stands for entertainment, although it's kind of expanding to everything. Um, I I started it basically as a radio station segment where it was just interviewing different entertainment professionals, especially those that were like comedians that were performing in our local area here in Raleigh. And then I just expanded it from there with a lot of different people I knew or knew people who knew people to get people on my show. So I had you, of course, on, which was a lot of fun because this was a sports radio station. Like the last thing they thought they wanted to hear was from
Danny Russo in Columbus, Ohio, talking
not
about interior design.
and I came in with your shirt on, the
My
sunglasses, your
sunglasses. You had my
autographed
emoji.
photo. I came in like such a fan because I like they were not like they working there as there was another woman that worked there with me, but I truly believe that before I ever started working there, they had already tainted the water with her because they tried to taint it with me. And I really was trying to like bridge with her, try to build community with her, and it never worked. And there was always drama between us that I feel like they kind of started because when I was out, I only took 1 day off, and that was when my grandmother passed. And during that time, they hired one of my guests as another
Oh, I think I remember this.
reporter on there, and so it just made me feel like so
But you,
unimportant there. Like it was
aside
really
from
weird.
that,
Yeah,
you of all people should know that you're better than that and to let that
yeah.
go. But
I was
didn't
trying
you
my
win?
best.
You won best radio
Radio person.
personality
Yeah,
in Cary,
in Cary, like it
Cary,
was
Cary.
the
I almost said
first.
Cary, Indiana, Gary,
No,
Indiana, Cary, North Carolina.
yeah, part of
But you
Cary
won.
magazine.
Yeah, you won best radio personality. And it was funny. I actually got calls that day and they're like, "How are you on the radio in my neck of the woods?" And I go, "Don't ask me." I was like,
Don't ask, don't tell.
I go whatever, I do whatever they tell me to do and I just go with the flow.
Well, so I was the first woman to ever win and the first person of color to ever win. And it was a big deal here locally.
Right.
And they didn't show up. Like the other radio personalities didn't show up that I worked with. And that hurt my feelings big time, especially when I came into work and they're like,
I
oh,
would
we
have
thought
showed
about
up if I was
coming.
closer.
Well, here's their excuse for why they didn't show is because they're like, we thought about coming to try to get sponsors, not to support me, not anything, like, oh, wow. But they were too tired.
Yeah.
So
So a lot of
I had my
designers
feelings
listen to
hurt.
this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you have a passion for design. I feel like you
Mm-hmm.
just don't know it.
Thank
But
you.
I've worked on your house a little bit. I got the chair that you're sitting in. I got you I got you your chair that you're sitting in. I got you your bed. We got some other stuff in
The
there, your
desk that
desk.
everything's
Um,
on, and I have
but
another office chair that we just couldn't go with one. We had to get two.
because she wanted the low back and the high back, so she
Yeah,
has
and I'm like
options.
just now realizing, oh, I'm in the high back.
I just
Oh,
saw it now, and I'm like, she switched the chairs out.
yeah,
I
I
have that
like my
chair
low
coming
back
in this
better.
week.
Jay was
Um,
sitting here probably doing his
so if
stuff.
another designer was on here, can you tell them how they can get a hold of you? Would you like to interview more designers?
I would, honestly, like I felt like I had so much fun and I learned so much from having the designers on,
Yeah.
but I just and they're so supportive. Like they're really good at reposting my stuff and sharing and but the only thing is I don't think I can afford to keep having designers on because my house will be completely rechanged after every interview. Which I'm all for
I'm
because
coming
I
for you.
honestly love it. No,
You
I'm
have to
loyal
tell
to
them I'm the
Davey.
only one that'll let
Yeah, no,
you'll
I'll just
let.
honestly, I feel like I've gotten so inspired and just like through osmosis almost feel like I can speak about trends in some way because I learned from the best. Because Patty Carpenter is like the trend lady as well, like for color, like that's her thing. Color and textures, she does all the
Patty
trends for you.
Carpenter, was she the one that was laughing at me really hard when I told her I broke my scooter or broke my finger? Was she sitting? We were in the first floor. It was a
I I don't
day
even
two of
know.
market. We had
Maybe she
just,
was the one that we saw with Tom Felicia on panel.
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
She's so nice.
she is the
I
nicest.
love her with
Like
the glasses.
yes, like everyone in the kaleidoscope was super nice and super dope. And like, they treat like sometimes when you meet people through Zooms, you get that kinship, like you feel like you really know each other. And so then when you
Right.
meet in person, it's can be awkward, and it wasn't at all. Like some people I meet again, and I'm like, oh hi, how are you? Because like last night I went to the Hornets game, and I got to see Trevor Booker, who was also one of my
Is that who
uh,
you posted in this morning? I called you and
I
asked you
haven't
if that was
posted
Little
anybody
John.
yet. I
Oh,
haven't posted. No, 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 no. I'm not posting that picture. You couldn't pay me to post that picture. Unless like someone
So I
wants to
never
leak
finished my
it and say
conversation, the
that's
story.
mine. Yeah, go ahead.
Somebody posted a picture with little John, and apparently he was in Columbus in my neighborhood at a steakhouse. And I was like, what? But okay.
Columbus. I mean, it has
Yeah.
to do with design. He's always talking about from the windows to the
To the
floor.
walls.
Oh, let me stop. Nobody pays me to sing. But no, I love designers. I love artsy people in general, people who can create like a whole new space. Anything in that world, whether it's in entertainment, whether they host shows about design, whether they just want to host shows about design and want to practice being on TV with me, that's fine too. Um, I just, yeah, I'm just learning a lot about the industry. And
You know a lot.
I, I mean,
You
I
know
know a
more
lot
than
from an
you
artist
you know
standpoint.
more,
Yeah.
not necessarily from Olivia, but
Right.
you know a lot that you don't think you know. And I can tell that because there's a lot of designers that don't go to market. And I don't know, you can go any which way with you want with your career. I told you that the other day. Um, you know more than you think you know, and you know more than you let on to that you know.
That's true too. But
But
sometimes it pays to play dumb because you
the
don't
more
know what you don't know, and so you get to learn hear from other people things,
well,
and maybe you're wrong.
it's also about making mistakes too. I didn't get to where I'm at without making mistakes. So you always learn from that. But you're really
Definitely.
good. Like I said, I was gonna say, tell everybody where they can find you. And if you wanted to be a guest on your show, is there an email that they can go to
Sure.
email
So
you?
yeah, the eSpot Camille at gmail.com. They can email me there.
And you're
Otherwise, they can hook me up on DMs on Instagram, the real Camille Cower,
the real
or
Camille
at
Cower, Cammillekauer. You have to repeat yourself. You because I called her Camille, I called her Camilla, I've called her. It took me a good year to get her name down straight,
You were
and
calling me
she's
Olivia Pope. That was really
well, I
funny
always
because
thought
my
she looked like
mom's
the
name's
actress from.
Olivia.
So I call now I call her mom Olivia Pope. But anyway, Olivia Pope's a character from Scandal, and I always thought you looked like Kerry Washington. And
I appreciate that. She's
yeah,
beautiful.
and your histories and background. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Camille, thank you so much for being a guest on the Design Exchange. Melinda is in Jamaica or something, but
Again?
they no, she just got back. But
Oh, I was like Aruba,
um
Jamaica. Ooh,
you
la,
she
la.
taught me how to use this Zoom thing, and I can do backgrounds now, and we can do remotes, and we're gonna have a lot more guests, and we're gonna expand the brand. Can I do multiple people on here at one time?
Yes, you can do like four,
Three
five, a
guests, four.
hundred.
Oh my God, we're growing the design exchange.
Yeah, you
So
could have a whole panel and just talk about
yeah,
stuff. It'll be fun. Bring me on every time.
I I can't believe I'm just figuring this out. But all right, I'm off
And
to
you can have a
start my
producer
Monday.
off camera that helps you.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we do.
All of the above.
Yeah. But follow the Design Exchange. We are the TDX podcast on Instagram. I am Daniel Russo Home on Instagram. My private Instagram is Danny Russo, but follow Daniel Russo Home. We're growing that one. I have some exciting news coming out very, very, very soon. And
Are you gonna make it an
yeah,
eSpot exclusive, or are you gonna tell it TDX first?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll tell you. I'll tell you when I call you back later.
Okay.
But my girls just got here and we're going to get our butts to work because
It's
we have been crazy busy and it's furniture season. So,
isn't it
all right.
always furniture season?
Well, right now we call it dining room season. So everybody's like, "Where's my dining room? Where is it?" But not right now. It's like, "Where's everything?" And
Okay.
everything is. We're just getting caught up. So yeah,
Yeah, doesn't it
I will talk to
always?
you later today or first thing in the morning tomorrow.
Sounds
But yeah,
great. Thanks
thanks
for
so much for
having
joining
me.
me. Again, follow Camille. She's the real Camille Cower, CammilleKauer,
ER. Mm-hmm.
Kauer. And you also have a podcast, and it can be found anywhere. You're
All the
on YouTube,
platforms.
all the platforms. It's called the E Spot with Camille,
iHeartRadio. Yep. Spotify.
iHeartRadio,
Yeah, I'm
Spotify,
everywhere.
all the things.
All of
Yeah. All
them.
right. Thanks so much for joining me, and
Thank
we
you.
will talk to you soon. Miss
Love
you, love
you.
you.
Hope
Bye.
you win.
Bye.